Recently, the MCU re-released Avengers Endgame in an obvious gambit to try to overtake Avatar as the #1 movie around the world of all time. You know, the highest grossing movie everywhere, right? Avatar was #1 at 2.7 something, and Avengers Endgame was at 2.6 or 2.7 something, but just with a lower decimal point, 2.73 versus 2.76, I don't know, something like that. But Marvel was not satisfied. They were like, we're going to beat Avatar. We came close in our original run, and let's re-release it. And I think they're pretty obvious about it. They aren't even, at least they aren't trying to hide it. I mean, I think it's a bit desperate and stuff, and kind of greedy, because they're so successful. It's like, we have to take out somebody else by re-releasing it. And they came close, but as of now, they haven't done it. Maybe they will. Maybe Spider-Man Homecoming will give them a boost, because it's one Marvel property out at the same time as another. Maybe it'll have like a slingshot effect where people will see one and think I have to see both. The same thing that happened with Captain Marvel, right? When Avengers Endgame came out earlier this year, Captain Marvel got a boost in box office for a little while there because people saw them as a companion piece. I have to see one movie to understand another movie to complete the whole story. Maybe it'll be the same thing with Spider-Man Far From Home. Far From Home. I keep calling Spider-Man Far From Home Spider-Man Homecoming. But so far, Avengers Endgame has not toppled Avatar. And I have 4 reasons why that hasn't happened, and probably won't. So let's get into it. Number 1, the extra scenes and features that they put in Avengers Endgame Re-Release don't seem like a big enough deal to want to see it again. Right? There's not enough of a reason to see this re-release because, it has a couple of extra scenes, a Stan Lee tribute, but it's still exactly the same movie. So I think a lot of people are like, well, there's no point in me seeing this movie again because I've already seen it. And many of them have probably seen it multiple times. So, there's no reason for this re-release to really motivate them, to compel them, because it's the same experience. They might see some extra stuff, a little bit, but the extra scenes aren't that impressive. And the Stan Lee tribute, while cool, I mean, I don't know if that's enough to have people, shell out more cash in large enough numbers for this to make buku bucks. Number 2, I think it's too soon, right? Avengers Endgame came out originally, started its theatrical run like April 26th or April 28th, right around that time, right around my birthday weekend. My birthday is April 28th. And I think Avengers Endgame came out that weekend. It was April 26th of this year, right? And because it was so successful, it was in theaters for so long. So this re-release this weekend, or this past right about now, it doesn't seem like a re-release. It seems like it's still in theaters, right? It's so soon, people are kind of like... The perception is not that Avengers Endgame for a lot of people is being released again. It's that it's still in theaters and hasn't left yet. And, a lot of people are like, by this point, if they are going to see it again or decide not to see it at all, they've already made that decision. There's no reason to compel them to see a movie that's already been out in theaters for 3 months or 2.5 months. I mean, they already knew. We already knew that this movie was there for us to see, and it still seemed like it was still in theaters, even though I guess it had been taken out, that there's no reason for us to do it. I know people are comparing, I think both Avatar and Titanic were re-released years ago when I was younger. I don't remember the time between the original theatrical release of those movies and their re-releases. I was a little kid or a teenager, wasn't paying much of attention. At least when Titanic came out. I was a bit older when Avatar came out, but even then I wasn't paying that much attention. It seemed like it was kind of a bigger deal when those were released, because I think maybe the re-releases were farther out from the original release. Maybe not. But I know as an adult, the perception now with this movie's period and with the Avengers MCU zeitgeist, it really did feel like Avengers Endgame had never even left theaters in the first place. So, the re-release, I have to go see it again after it's been out in theaters. It never felt that way to me. It felt like, them asking me, begging me to see a movie I had already had the opportunity, a chance to see for months. So the hype, excitement factor, I think, wasn't really that big. Number 3 is I think it comes out, the re-release is coming out too soon to the streaming Blu-ray DVD release, right? I think in a week or two, you can buy Avengers Endgame and own it forever. So I'll just wait for that, I think is what a lot of people are thinking, instead of paying to see it again. Paying to see it this one extra time when I could just pay one price and be able to see it unlimited amount of times at no extra cost by having the Blu-ray at home or buying it in iTunes or something. And number 4, maybe fatigue. I know that's going to be like weird to a lot of people because Avengers Endgame is so successful and people love the MCU so much. How could you be fatigued? What I mean is, unlike other huge blockbusters like Avatar and Titanic, I think Avengers Endgame and a lot of Marvel movies, there's a lot of really zealous fans who are watching that movie like Endgame and other MCU movies like 10 or 11 times in theaters, right? And I think at this point, all the people who are going to do that have already done it. It's like, I've already seen this movie like 7 times. I don't need to see it 9. Like, I know there are a lot of people who want to push it over the edge and make it number 1, like whatever it takes. But I don't think there are enough people who are that committed to be willing to pay to see a movie like 2 more times after they've already seen it like 12, right? I think people are maybe tired. I mean, they love the movie, but it's like, I don't think they love it enough to want to see it with such urgency like they did when it first came out, when it was still fresh. I think at this point, everybody who wanted to see Avengers Endgame multiple times, they've already done that. And so maybe they're just tired. It's like, I've already done this a million times already, I don't need to do it again. Maybe I'll wait until I watch the Blu-ray or DVD later this year or something. So there we have it. My 4 reasons why I think Avengers Endgame was unable to overtake Avatar as the biggest movie box office-wise of all time. In spite of the fervent, passionate love millions, gajillions of people have for the MCU and for the Avengers, and as much as many people, wanted with glee to see Avengers Endgame take over Avatar and be the number 1 movie of all time, James Cameron is still the king of the world. As of today, who knows? Like I mentioned earlier in the video, maybe Spider-Man Far From Home will cause, some kind of boost, some piggyback for Avengers Endgame Re-Release. There'll be people who are seeing one Marvel movie feel like they have to see another one. Maybe that will be enough to carry Avengers Endgame over the edge. And if it is, I'll make another video saying, oops, I was wrong. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.